What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. And we're here in the trading hall that I built last episode. Some people had some questions about it, and I said I'd go more in depth on how to build this, and more specifically how to build the modules here for the villagers and the zombie for the converting system that we've got set up. Here you have the very basic setup of the system that we need for trading and for converting the villagers into zombies so that we can cure them and get the lower prices. And so you'll see here we've got the zombie between two villagers, job blocks, the beds up top, and the piston, of course, that is our on-off switch for converting these guys into zombies. And I'll go ahead and go through the materials list here for what you'll need. Of course, you need pistons, glass, levers, trapdoors. Your job block, in this case, we'll be using a lectern today. You'll need rails, powered rails, redstone torch or levers that can power them, minecart, a bed for each villager, name tag for the zombie, or if you don't have name tags, solid blocks that you can throw at the zombies, and of course you'll keep the ones that hang on to those blocks because those guys won't despawn on you once you go out of render distance of your trading hall. So we'll grab some blocks here. As you can see, I've emptied this out of the other ones from the episode, and we'll just go ahead and build from the ground up one of these modules so that you can repeat that in your own world. So what you'll need is 3 blocks by 2 blocks deep, 3 blocks high, and you'll also need some space above, however that is, for the beds. We'll do 2 blocks out here. You'll put a piston facing downward here in the middle, lever, and then you'll get your glass, put glass there, get your trapdoors. What the trapdoors do is that allows you to have the job block space empty and the villager won't walk out on you when you're placing the job block down. So right there is the basic setup for the stall. Now, make sure once you get that done, you put a solid block on top of the piston, because if you don't, if your zombie doesn't have a helmet on when the sun comes up, or if you don't have a solid roof over the top, like right now I've got stairs up there, they don't block the sun. So you need a solid block to block the sunlight. If you have a ceiling on, then you don't have to worry about it, but if not, just be sure something's over where the zombie's going to sit. So we'll go ahead and do now, since this is in creative, we've got spawn eggs for what we need. I'll show basically the easiest way to get villager in here is by using a minecart. You could use a boat if you needed to, but of course that's going to be a lot more difficult. But if you don't have the materials, the iron for it, then you just use what you have on hand, and that'll be fine as long as you can get them in there. So what we'll do is set up the rails to go to this spot. You don't need a rail where the villager's going to stand, which is right there. And we'll pretend that we've gone all the way out to either our village or our villager breeder, and we've got our villager who won't stay with us. And so you get your villager, you get him into the cart, you just push him in. He'll go into the space, break the cart, and as you can see, as long as you have the glass here or a block and the trap door, he's not getting out. So we'll go ahead and get our other villager. Same setup. We're at our villager breeder. Get him in. And he goes right into place. Break the minecart, rails, and we're done with that for now. Now you can go ahead and place your job blocks if you want to. We'll go get our zombie after this. So you just place the job block right in front. And then what you want to do is get your beds and go ahead and place your beds up top. Now I put the beds up top, they can still see them. They're matching up. And they have to have the beds, otherwise their trades won't reset. You also have to make sure that they have the job block that's right in front of them, because they need access to the job block, or again, their trades won't reset. So an easy way of doing that, break the block. You can see he got mad. Now he's just attached to this guy's block. So this can happen when you're in a crowded spot. And so if we know he's attached to the wrong job block, we break it and shuffle things around until they get attached to the block that they need to be at. So now, with that done, we'll run and grab our zombie. Now, it's daytime, so you want to wait to do this at night. But for our sake, we'll just go ahead and do it during the day. He should survive. Now, before you get the zombie in there, make sure that this glass block is down so that once he moves in, he won't go ahead and start killing your villagers. And also remember that when you want to convert your villagers into zombie villagers, the level difficulty on the game needs to be set to hard. If the difficulty is not set to hard, the zombie will kill the villager instead of converting them. So we've got our zombie. We'll push him in. Now, he'll hit him on the way in, but once he's in under the glass, he won't harm him. So we can go out. We'll go ahead and keep him in the minecart. He's got to stay in the minecart. Keep the rail underneath for the minecart. And just brick him in like so. In his space inside the building. And so there you have it. That's a completed module for the villager trading hall. And the reason why I went with this design is, as you can see where I have this trading hall set up, it's on an island in front of our main starter house. And I didn't want the building to be massive, and I didn't want the island to have to be big. And so over here I have an example of another way you can do it, where you have a zombie behind the villager, but you can already see that either I wouldn't have any space to walk if I put one on the other side, or I'd have to have the footprint wider of the villager trading hall by a block at least on either side. Now, if you're just going to have your villagers lined up all on one side, do what works for you. Another design they have is where you have one zombie and a minecart rail behind the villagers, and you can stop them at whichever villager you want to convert. So that's another option, but again, you have the white space. And you can also have them to where they walk behind the villager, but you need an extra block for that. And in another tutorial that just goes over all the different designs that you can use, I'll go more in depth to that. For this one, I just wanted to go over my design that I used in the survival series and why I went with it. Once you have your villagers in place, then you can start cycling through, especially when it comes to librarians, cycle through their trades. So make sure they have the job block in front of them. If they have a bad habit of going to somebody else's, just get rid of that. And he's gotten that one. So we'll see what he has. He has bookshelves. And with librarians, you can get any spell book, aside from maybe Soul Speed or something like that they don't offer through librarians. But anything the librarian will trade, you can get. Now, it might take a long time to get the trade, but you'll get them eventually. So Protection 4, Feather Falling 4, all these high-powered enchantments for your armor, sharpness, all that stuff, you can get to them on that first line. You just have to keep breaking the lectern, break it, put it back, and he's got something else, Depth Strider. And so you keep going through the list, and it'll change. And once you find what you're looking for, if you wanted Smite 2, I'd take Sharpness over Smite, but that's me. Once you find a good trade that you're looking for, then just trade some paper, and that'll lock in that trade, and he's good to go. If for some reason you wonder which villager has what, just start breaking these, and you'll eventually find out. So now we've got that matched up, and you can just cycle through. So hopefully that gives you a basic breakdown. You put this in front of him, he should line up with that, and he does. So now, once you have your villagers assigned with their job blocks and you have the trade locked in that you want, to get around to converting them, you need either a potion of weakness, or you can get an arrow of weakness as well. Me, right now, I just use potions. And the other nice thing is you can save on potions with this design because you can get 2 guys at once. So we'll go ahead and... Didn't mean to throw that, but you can see this potion affected this one and this one at the same time. So you do that, golden apple, left click on it. When the red swirlies come up, he's started the conversion process. So I'll give it a few minutes and we'll come back once he's converted and see the difference it makes. So you can see there's no change in the prices around here with anyone. We haven't converted anyone yet. And so we'll see once he's cured how much lower his prices are and how much lower everybody around him is, because when one guy drops his prices and is able to see and talk to the other ones, they'll drop their prices as well. Okay, he's just converted, and you can see he's already dropped his prices. Paper, he's halved it, pretty much. And he's gone down to 1 emerald, 1 book for this trade, which is Unbreaking 1. And that's okay, you can get Unbreaking 3, that's what you want to be going for. But you can already see he's dropped his price. You can see the guys around him have slightly dropped their prices as well. It won't be as much as if you've converted them, but it will go down. Now the nice thing is you can continue converting these guys, and these prices should drop in even lower as you convert more villagers. But you can see all the guys in this room have dropped their prices by just curing 1 zombie villager. Whoops, sorry guy. As you can see, that was a quick run through on my specific trading hall and why I used the design that I did. In a future video, I plan on going through each different design that you can use for a trading hall. That way you can use whichever one fits your specific needs. This one right here fit mine. It's more compact as far as the footprint and utilizes less zombies than what you would if you had a zombie for each person. And even though it's more zombies than if you had 1 zombie that ran behind them, this is a little easier to manage than having to manage 1 zombie for all of your villagers. In past worlds, I've used the 1 zombie method. I've used zombies that just walk behind the villagers, and it worked well enough. It was not as reliable as this one. And so I'm really happy with this design right now. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, just throw them down in the comments. If you enjoyed this, like the video, it helps a lot, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.